Hello, welcome to this Linux tutorial. We will be going over file and directory permissions. We're using a CentOS 6 64-bit operating system. This is good for use with personal laptops and business servers. Today we will be going over the ls command to list all the files and directories in your current location. We'll be going over the pwd command to determine our location in the file system, and we'll be going over the commands to create and delete files and directories. Now if we do an ls command, we see that nothing is listed. If we do pwd, it states we are in /home/Fred. This is our home directory for the user Fred. Now a new home directory is stating that it's empty, but this is usually not the case. So if we take a closer look, we should be able to find some files and directories. The ls command has many flags which you can find using the man command, man, and the command specified, so in this case it's ls. But we don't necessarily need to look at the man page. We know that there is -h for human readable, -l for long format, and -a for all. So let's give this a try now. .ls space -lah. And there are files and directories. Notice all of them have a period beforehand. This states they are hidden files and directories. The first two are pointers, and these specify either the existing directory we are in, /home/Fred, with one period, or the previous directory, /home, with two periods. Under this we see we have a slew of information. We have files like .bash_history, and if we look at the beginning, we see where the permissions are listed, the file or directory specification, and more information after this. The first character specifies - for a file or D for a directory. After the first character, the next three characters are for the owner. The first is R, the second is W, and then there's a dash, which is read, write, and then no permissions for execute. This gives the owner the ability to read or write the file specified on the file system. The next three characters are for group, which are all dash. This means no permissions. And also, once again, 3 dashes for everyone, and this means no permissions. We also see after this the digit 1, which specifies file, and Fred space Fred. This means Fred owns the file, and Fred is the group of the file. 20 is the file size, 20 bytes, and then we see the date stamp, which is June 25th, 1639, which is translated to 4:39 p.m., and then the file name. And this is the basic format for the ls output. We can see other examples below. We see .genome2 is a directory, and it states it at the first character, D. It also states after permissions 2, which is directory. We also notice the file size is specified with a K after it, that's kilobytes. This is because of the H. It specifies it in a more human readable form. And we also see the group and the everyone permissions are specified R-X for both. This means group and everyone have read and execute permissions on the directory. So this is a good example of how to read the file and directory permissions in your home directory using the ls command. There are a number of other specifications which go along with the specification of the file, directory, or other object. We have B would be block special file, C character special file, L symbolic link, those are used frequently, S for socket, and others can be found in man space ls, or also info space ls gives a detailed description or outline of the command. Other things to go over are the touch command, mkdir, which is make directory, chown, change owner, chmod, chmod, remove directory, rmdir, and remove, which is rm. Each of these is to manage the files and directories on a file system. So if we touch test file.txt and test file2.txt, we see both of these are created with default permissions: read write, read write read for the owner, group, and everyone. File size is 0, and the file names look correct. Notice we specified the file names right after each other. We can also remove them in the same fashion. And the same goes for our directories. Default permissions: read, write, execute, read, write, execute, read, execute. Specified directory, owner Fred, group Fred, 4K, and the date stamp, and directory name. So all looks good. Now, one thing to note is directories have their own commands for addition and removal. This cleans up our directory once again back to its normal state, original state, going over some of the fundamentals of our file system. Thank you for listening.